this live stream. Not that it matters because nobody really is on when I'm on, anyways. So the lighting's amazing this morning. So I wanted to talk about. So I think I left off when I was at my second job in China. So yesterday we talked about what depression was like for me in the first 3 months. Now I've experienced even more depression, like as in recently year times, like last year, and had to seek professional help. That's how bad it was. But I talked yesterday. I talked about my last live stream. Talked about depression in my first 3 months of living in China. I was living by myself for the not for the first time, but the first time in a new country, new culture. I was away from my husband at the time, and yeah, it was just quite tough. And how I overcame it, which was thankfully I overcame it at that point in time. But eventually, yeah, I was telling you guys that my second job, I was one of two foreigners, and one of my coworkers, he actually became quite famous on TV. So I'll tell you guys what the show was about. But anyways, he was in 90 Day Fiance. I know. I know. I would have never guessed that this guy would have blown up. Now, he's my really good friend, but this guy is, I wouldn't lie. When I met him, he was kind of a character. But I didn't know that it would turn out to be like so crazy. So I know his fiance, well, they're married now. So I knew his fiance. I knew him before they became fiance. I knew them just as boyfriend and girlfriend. I used to go over to their house and have dinners and stuff. And there's another story about that for another time. But anyways, at the time when I met him, he was working in China, and his girlfriend was from Thailand. Well, is from Thailand, and yeah, I saw when he was signing up the contracts, he was like, "Ife, yo, I'm signing up for this thing. My friend put me onto this. He told me I should sign up because I have a great story and stuff," not knowing that this thing would have blown up. This guy is mega on Instagram. Like, I haven't looked at his Instagram recently, but when I did check his Instagram, I was like, what the? He blew up. I'll tell you guys who it is at the end. But if you watch 90 Day Fiance, you would know who I'm talking about. So anyway, something in my eye. It's so funny when I met this guy. It was my first time in this city because I'm live and there's something in my eye. And I can't take it out. Okay. Yeah. So when I met him, it was my first time in this city. He had already lived there for 1 year. And remember, I left my previous job June 30th. By the following week, I was already at this new job. One, because I needed to make some extra money. I needed to like start banking, make it, because low cost of living where I was at, I would be able to save really easily. So I was like, why not work through the summer, you know? I had just come to China the October before. So as soon as I got into this job, I told them I would start like right away from my previous contract. So with that contract, they paid for housing this time. Of course they paid for flights during the year. I think it was like 2,000 USD for flights, is a flight allowance. Every job I've had there's a flight allowance, which is really good. So you can travel wherever you want with that. So I had to go look for an apartment. I did not find an apartment in his building. I found one in a really nice community, very quiet. I had to pay for internet. My previous job, I didn't have to pay for internet. I do not think there was a food allowance in this one. And I was so bold that in my contract when I was trying to negotiate, I was like, oh, I want a food allowance. Not all jobs give you that. So, in out of the different jobs I've had in China, maybe two or three have given me a food allowance. So anyways, when I eventually met this my coworker who eventually became quite famous on 90 Day Fiance, he he actually helped me figure out like where the supermarket was. So we took the bus, and I met his son, and we went off to. His son was visiting at that point in time, visiting. So he's American. His son was visiting from America, and we both went to, all three of us, we went to the supermarket. We did some exploring around the city. He showed me around the area, where some different essential, like which where the banks would be. It was right pretty much where my school was, where my job was. It's pretty close. So from my job to my apartment was maybe like a 15-minute walk, or maybe a 5-minute bike ride. So that's one thing I love about China, and the jobs that I've gotten. They've always been very close to each other. So you don't have a long commute. And when I think about it, I'm like, I mean, not everybody has that privilege of working close to their job. So I just love the fact that in China, the schools always try to make sure that you don't have a long commute. They really try to help you find apartments. So that's the other thing too. They always try to give you someone who is really good with speaking English, and they will help you find apartments. So the girl Daisy's such a sweetheart. I remember her to this day. She helped me negotiate my contracts. I believe I had to pay a year. I paid 6 months. I think I paid 6 months, and I got a discount or something because I paid 6 months ahead. Or did I pay a year? No, I paid a year. I paid a year's worth of rent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the rent was quite low. I think rent was like 200. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember it was 200, like 180 USD a month. Rent was very, very cheap. So, um, I really love that apartment. And anyway, so Daisy helped me find a place. We were able to negotiate, but she was really good. She was fighting with these landlords. She's like, don't mess with her. You better give her a discount, and don't be charging her for this, and don't be charging her for that. And there was so many things. Daisy was like, I got you, girl. So Daisy was really sweet. And then when we were looking for apartments, she made sure to tell me like, yeah, she doesn't like that one. She would help me to see which ones I should get. So yeah, she helped me land on a particular one. I hung out a bit. I think I went for like hot pot or something, or Korean barbecue with my American coworker. And then there was a coworker who was transitioning out. He was leaving the job. So yeah, I think that first job I was able that sorry, that was my second job. So I was able to settle in really quickly, find a place. Now they also put me in a hotel for 3 days. I just remembered that. And for 3 days while you're looking for or an apartment, they would put you up in a hotel. They cover the costs and everything. And because they cover the costs, they're trying to you better hurry up and find a place, okay? Because I think when I was there, maybe 2 days, and I didn't move in yet, I wanted the apartment cleaned before I moved in, and everything. And the landlord had a lot of their personal items in the apartment, and I wanted them to clear it out. So I think when it was approaching 3 days of me being in the hotel, they were like, get it together. Like, why are you still in the hotel? Basically. So they were telling me like, my school was telling me like, we want you to hurry up and move into your place, because obviously they don't want to spend extra money on being in a hotel. So anyway, so yes, I eventually moved into my place. It was all cleaned up, and I got the keys handed over, and I think any extra things. I think, yes, I also had to go to, there was like a little shop you had to go to pay for electricity. So how it worked, you had to top up your electricity. So you would have to, it will run. Like, I remember it happened a couple times. I would forget to go top up my electricity, and it would run out, and I would be without, I would be without power. So I have to go to a little shop. It was just so archaic, but I think I haven't done that since that time. This was 2016. I haven't done that since then. It's always either, oh, how did I pay? Oh, my jobs after that. How did I pay electricity? I don't even remember. I think also a little shop. Yeah, like what is it with? I haven't done that in a long time. So we'll get to my other jobs. But my point is like yeah, I remember electricity running out. I had to go to a little shop, go pay for electricity, and top it up, and then I had power. Like they switch it back on. So that is so ghetto. But yeah, um, it's crazy because China is so advanced and you still have to do that, which is so crazy. So now how it works, I can tell you how it works now with electricity. They don't cut your lights, they will just send you a notification. It's on your phone, everything is electronic. You go into an app and you pay. It's like I can actually go and check and see if my power is running low. I pay for gas the same way. I don't pay for water. I pay for gas. It's like cheap. It's like $1 every 2 months or something. I pay for gas to cook. Um, Electricity on average here in this city where I live, it's like in when I'm not using so let's say transition months, so spring and autumn, I don't use too much power, so maybe 20 USD, not even 20, maybe yeah, about 20, about 20 USD for per month for electricity bills. That's my electricity bill. And when it's like summertime when I have the AC, or wintertime when I have to put on the heat, maybe it's like 40 USD or something. It's not expensive, or 40 to 60 USD, depending on how much I use my heat. So yeah, so if you want to know now who it is that became famous, very famous on 90 Day Fiance, when I was after working with him, and I didn't even look at the show while it was running, when it was when it premiered, and while it was actually playing out in on TV. I didn't watch it until maybe a couple years after, because we will keep in contact. It's like, hey, how's the show going? I know he asked me to be on the show, so I forgot to tell you guys that he asked me to be on the show. So here's what I'm gonna leave this. Okay, now I'll tell you guys. He asked me to be on the show. I completely forgot to tell you guys about that. They were filming in Thailand, and I happened to be in Thailand. That was my first solo trip out of China. No, Malaysia was my first solo trip. I could talk about that. I'll talk about that with you guys. My first solo trip. Thailand was my second, was going to be my second stop, and he asked me to come film with him. So the person is David and Annie. So if you watch 90 Day Fiance, David and Annie, David was my coworker. I used to work with David, and I met Annie as well. Annie is she's so funny. She's really sweet, really kind, really lovely. So, yeah, I used to hang out with them, go to dinner with them at their place. We used to go out to dinner together. I think I'd gone shopping with Annie at some point. Oh no, David had asked me to go shopping with her because she was quite lonely. She was from Thailand and in China. So anyways, that's the story, and that's who it was. So yeah, David Toborowski, and I think that's how you say his last name. I may have messed up the last name. David and Annie. I should actually message him and see how he's doing. We haven't chatted in a while. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't want to drag it out too long, but yeah, maybe I'll talk about how I mean, there's nothing much of this story with that. I just didn't go. Yeah, that can be a story actually. I feel like everything could be a story with me. Talk to you guys later. Bye.